Ah, the open seas, the feeling of wind at your face, freedom from behind propelling you forward, and a bunch of ugly, smelly men just crammed around you. I find that video games made about sailing take a wide array of approaches to make you feel the weight of the ocean. Some utilize Lovecraftian horror to bear down on you as the fear of the unknown creeps under the waters, and others say, hey, look at Link! He's so tiny. Whatever it may be, sailing is a beautiful escape, and the games which correctly recreate the many ideas that are represented by the ocean can immerse the player in their deep waters. So let's set a course for sailing in video games. You guys really do smell awful, okay? First off, let's look at how Sea of Thieves creates camaraderie in sailing. What are you doing over there, Little John?
I don't know. Just hanging around.
Hanging around is really all that Sea of Thieves is about. But by hanging around, it's more than just looking at the beautiful ocean kind of hanging around. It's more like a get on board with your buddies and play all the instruments at the same time kind of hanging around. It's blowing up a barrel that somebody's holding on to and watching them shoot off the ledge hanging around. It's firing your friend out of a cannon 50 feet in the air and then he crashes in his sand, goes kind of hanging around. Sea of Thieves is all about camaraderie. This game is boring as hell to play alone, but playing it with your friends and setting sail on a big ship where you have to navigate each piece of it in order to get from place to place is exhilarating. It requires teamwork, it requires some attention, but not enough to be annoying, and ultimately it just requires you to have a good time with your friends. Next up, we have the fear created by sailing in Dredge. Dredge starts out as a very simple fishing game. You take your dinghy vessel out into the open waters, you play a little fishing minigame, and then you come back and upgrade your boat. But over time, you start to discover something sinister lying beneath the water as the people in Greater Morrow drop cryptic clues on what might be going on in the world. Questions start to creep in your mind, like, could I get lost in the sea without the aid of light? What lurks beneath the water, and how can I run from it? Why does this monkey keep making bad business decisions? It's probably because he's a monkey. The game's central mechanic of balancing your panic meter and the use of light creates an intense experience, one that instilled a whole lot more fear in me than other games of its kind. But as the great Franklin Delano Roosevelt once said, the only thing to fear is fear itself. Oh shit, I forgot about bombs. So next up, we'll look at the journey created by sailing in Wind Waker. Wind Waker takes you on a beautiful journey across the Hyrulean archipelago. Sailing on your minuscule boat feels far different than it does in other games. Each time you kick off, you feel a sense of adventure rushing you forth into the next place. Excited to see what Nintendo has built for you on the other side. Excited to cross the picturesque oceans that swirl with their hand-drawn art style. And excited to get up to the normal Nintendo Legend of Zelda shenanigans in each dungeon and each boss fight. It all feels like a true adventure, one which you would see in a Studio Ghibli movie as you bounce from place to place, meeting colorful characters, exploring a beautiful world, and embarking upon a memorable journey. After that, let's look at the power of sailing created in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. The Assassin's Creed games are a usual Ubisoft dredge, but Assassin's Creed Black Flag ditches that because it has big ship. And that's pretty fun. The sailing in Black Flag is a ton of fun. It builds up the power fantasy of being the captain of a pirate ship as you tell a bunch of men to get to their oars and fire their cannons at your will. The Assassin's Creed games are always about toppling some grand power, and by giving you the reins of a ship and of a crew, letting you set sail on the open ocean, and requesting that you attack any boat you see on sight gives you a power fantasy that many of the other games fail to reach. All this bolstered by top-tier ship combat, which utilizes every aspect of naval warfare without ever feeling tedious or overcomplicated, makes for an excellent and powerful experience. Finally, let's look at the aesthetics presented in the sailing of Spiritfarer. Spiritfarer seeks to present sailing merely from an aesthetic standpoint, as it sets you loose in a beautiful 2D environment. Watching the sun rise and fall as the golden rays cut across your boat is magnificent. each trek feeling similar but stunning. The game takes away every stress that may ail you as you cut across the open water. There is no wheel to turn, no anchor to drop and retract. It's all just a point and click in which the ship goes anywhere your heart desires. It's a game about effortlessly drifting across the ocean, discovering uncharted waters, making friends, seeing the sights, helping people on their journey to the afterlife. It's a beautiful adventure, and its sailing adds to this by being a mere aesthetic and never interfering with the heart that the game delivers in each of its main steps. This video is here to show that there are many ways to point the ship of video game sailing. Whether you overwhelm the player with the struggle of survival or let them and their friends loose in a sandbox of fun, the ocean is a developer's playground. And the boat in which they navigate it can take us to so many different places. Bye-bye now. Alright, that was the video about sailing, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Two things to say before I go here today. First off, a huge thank you to Volta, who did the outro for the Blurbs channel. It's really good. I have linked their Instagram down in the description below, so check them out, and big thank you to them for the wonderful outro they made for me. Second thing off, we gotta thank the patrons. Oh my gosh, we've got Avon, Mr. Kairu, Nickel Simba, Bandwagon, Spider-Man on my new PS5, Johnny Hammerstick, and I Want an Apple. You guys are the absolute best. Big thank you to you. Big thank you to Volta. Big thank you all for watching, and I'm gonna leave. I gotta go play flag football.